Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for July 14th, 2022. The man they call me did, the Matthew Thomas of Matthew Thomas's Matthew Thomas. Matthew, let's bring off air into on air. What else do you put bananas in besides your morning breakfast cereal?
Well, you had mentioned ice cream. That's not a bad idea. What do I put them in? It's not full immersion. It's more of a dip. But I like a good banana with some peanut butter as well too.
Oh, that's one of those Elvis things.
Yeah.
Peanut butter, baby.
Not to be confused with my mother. My mother is actually a champion.
Your mother's nickname is banana and peanut butter?
No, not anymore. But she's actually a champion of a banana and mayonnaise sandwich.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah. I like those two, just not to. I've never tried them together. I've never been daring enough to try them together. But there are people who eat banana and mayonnaise sandwiches. Although I think it's got to be Duke's mayonnaise, and you can't get Duke's mayonnaise in every part of the country. That is very, very regional based.
There's only a select group that have got Meathead's mayonnaise, but I digress. Let's move on to other topics. You were talking about mothers, and the Undertaker's mother on the WWE biography. I know you haven't seen it yet, but Matthew, let's set it up for you. Undertaker's mom discussing what she thought of the Undertaker, what she thought of his career, and how she reacted to watching him perform.
Hey, that's the thing. I don't think they put it in any, trailers or any teasers. I think
They should have led with that.
Yeah, no pun intended, being that we're discussing Undertaker and burying. You're burying the lead if you do not plaster it all over the place. Hey, turn in and you can see Undertaker's mother. That is a selling point right there.
That's where he got his love of kale. But our love of T-shirts comes from, Matthew.
Collar and Elbow brand, available over on their website at collarandelbowbrand.com. There's so many new releases and so many drops now. I can't even remember if what I saw this week was real or if I
hunger for
random dream.
Loser Leaves Town T-shirt.
Oh, you do, don't you?
I do. You like that?
Yeah.
I'm a segue master today. I'm killing it with the back and forth segues. So. For those of you that don't know, I had to send it to the group chat because it was bugging me that nobody else knew who the Hunger was from the 90s and their song Vanishing Cream. So
just don't fall off your segue.
Hey now. Let's talk a little bit about a big wrestling event that's going to be coming up SummerSlam weekend in the Tennessee area. It is Ric Flair's last match, and it's not just one match. It's not like, oh my God, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield are going to fight, but there's nothing else on the card. This is what is currently announced so far for Ric Flair's last match. For the Impact World for the Impact World Championship, Josh Alexander, the Impact Champion, takes on Jacob Fatu. You got a three-way dance with the women, Raquel Ellering, Deonna Purrazzo, and Jordynne Grace. You've also got Killer Kross with Scarlett and Harry Smith. You remember Harry Smith? Clark Connors, we saw him at Forbidden Door from New Japan Pro Wrestling taking on Ren Narita. Dude, the American Wolves and the Motor City Machine Guns in a Dream Tag rematch from Impact Wrestling. You've also got Rey Fenix and Taurus taking on the Laredo Kid and Bandito. And then, dude, the Von Erichs, the new generation Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross taking on Dem Boys, the Briscoes. Not to include Ric Flair and mystery opponents. Matthew, this is a show that we might have to figure out how to get to.
Right. And let me ask you this. I mean, this is this being broadcast on pay-per-view? Is this like a fight thing, or do you have to be there?
I think it's you have to be there. And here's the thing, though. It was supposed to be at like a county fairgrounds.
Yeah.
They made it such a big card that it got moved to an arena, actually, SummerSlam weekend. I need Fight TV down there. I need our Josh Chernoff. I need Josh Chernoff down there reporting live from SummerSlam weekend. Almost said Summerfest. SummerSlam weekend. I need Linda Kay, who's going to be in town that weekend. I need her to get us a live report from the show.
Yeah, that would be very, very helpful. And if it helps Linda out, it took me a while, but I did find the bathroom at Tootsie's. Okay, the bathroom at Tootsie's is kind of hard to find, but I know where the bathroom's at Tootsie's.
All right. First off, Tootsie's. What the hell are you talking about, and where is it?
Yeah, it's Tootsie's. We're talking about Nashville. It's in SummerSlam, Nashville weekend. Yeah, okay. Everybody knows Tootsie's. Tootsie's is a national landmark, and I know where the bathroom's at.
Okay. Now, is Tootsie's like the Dustin Hoffman movie, or are we talking about something else?
Haven't seen the Dustin Hoffman movie, so I can't comment on that.
Here's what makes me nervous about going to Tootsie's until I know for sure. Tootsie was a Dustin Hoffman movie where he was a out of work actor that decided to dress up as a woman to get a job on a soap opera.
Oh, so, that's right. Yeah.
If Tootsie's is that kind of show, I won't be attending. That's all.
I think my favorite Dustin Hoffman movie might be Hook, actually.
Okay.
Segue, dynamite.
Yeah, we'll get to Hook in a little bit, but first we got some Claudio Castagnoli news. Big story on him in Sports Illustrated. AEW may have found the next big star for them. As long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be a fan favorite for a long time. Matthew, he also had a match last night on Dynamite that we'll get to in a little bit, but in his first non-WWE appearance 11 years, Castagnoli debuted for AEW at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Matthew, your thoughts so far on the presentation of Claudio?
Oh, I think it's been great. He has been, booked like a superstar. And this could work out very, very well for everybody involved. I mean, you've got a main eventer without a doubt. And I think you're really starting to see it. The AEW fan base, I mean, it is a different fan base than what you have at WWE, but the fan base already has elevated him to a top tier talent. Listen to the reaction that he's getting everywhere he's been. And you've got a star on your hands.
Oh, you sold me on that one. Thanks. That was the song. You know what that is? Do you know the song?
Was it a score from a Dustin Hoffman movie?
No, it wasn't a Dustin Hoffman movie. We digress. Let's move on here. It's Fyter Fest, and now this is going to be a 4-night Fyter Fest. Does that mean anything? No. But Fyter Fest, I believe, is for points. Am I not mistaken, Matthew? I believe that, in PDVR fantasy draft points, Fyter Fest counts, at least just the main events.
Oh, my goodness. We'll have to look at the rules on this one. I did not I only paid for my cable subscription to watch this. So I think currency has to change hands in regards to a premium network and or a buy button literally pressed.
Yeah, it wasn't. But I joke and I kid. Hey, opening title match. It's the TNT title. Wardlow taking on Orange Cassidy. AEW does this, and we know they do this, and they get that crowd started off hot. We always talk about this on Friday morning. What is Rampage going to open with? Who's going to come in? What song's going to hit? It used to be all about that boom with Adam Cole. It was, Jericho's music. And now with Jane by Jefferson Starship for Orange Cassidy, you've got a big crowd pop once we get him in the building, and he gets a TNT title match. Now, I'm gonna tell you that it really takes me out as a fan trying to watch TV. I'm so glad this happened within the first 3 minutes of the show, but again, production issues. They just show a camera of Wardlow backstage pacing back and forth at the bottom of the stairs, about ready to go up the stairs for his entrance. Matthew, this was a tough one because it was two fan favorites, and they did a pre-show interview with the best friends. And they're like, man, this is a tough match for you, Orange. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to cheat. They went to their lawyer, Danhausen. They got manager licenses and said, we're going to cheat to win. Okay. I mean, you know what? Wardlow played along at the beginning, and I liked the way it ended because it kept Orange Cassidy strong. It kept Wardlow strong because he ended up winning. And then a little bump of the fists.
This was the exact match that these two should have had. Like, this match flowed so well for how each of these people have been booked and, what their characters are. And they're two very characters that are not, they're two contrasting characters, I guess.
Huge
is what I'm trying to say. Wardlow,
not Conrad, but contrast.
Yeah, has been absolutely mowing through people, in Orange Cassidy with his own distinct style. But when you look at the psychology and the move set and the way this match took place, and I got to say that one of my favorite attempted interferences ever, a distraction and then, pulling out a chainsaw from under the ring. I mean, that was fantastic.
Take that chainsaw, you take your ring cover, and you're out of here.
And so great and ineffective as well too. Like, I mean, just the botched interference and the fact that
what about the fact that Danhausen was hanging under the ring and where those stops is and then he pulls them out from under the ring.
Oh, it was great, and I think everybody got out of it what they needed to. I mean, Wardlow, you got to have him go over, but it was a hard fought victory, and I like the fact that and maybe it was just me getting used to Orange Cassidy and his moveset and everything, but it seemed like at first, the first year or so of him in AEW that he just kind of accidentally lucked into his offense. Now it is being presented as, okay, this is the guy's style. Yep, it's a mind game.
Yeah, his pockets ripped out of his pants.
Oh my goodness. I thought this was just very, very well done. And it was a great showcase of two very distinct AEW talents.
Great match. I really, really like this match. The Chris Jericho interview. Chris Jericho came very strong. I'm comfortable with him saying that he's going to be the Painmaker next week, but he took everything that Eddie said, which is perfect, right? He took everything that Eddie said and dissected it over and over. Now, what I didn't understand was how Eddie Kingston was going to get an interview back. I thought it'd be one from last week, one from this week, and then we have the match next week. We're going to get Eddie Kingston on the microphone after, and Chris calls Eddie a loser, not a liar.
Do you feel like the AEW cadence of their ultra-violent matches is a little bit too quick? Like, don't you think we could go another couple of weeks from blood and guts until we get a super, super violent gimmick match? I feel like the cadence is becoming a little bit too close together.
As far as programs go, I would say yes. We go from interaction to match to I want to drink your blood.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it ramps. It goes from 1 to 10 very quick.
No, exactly. And here's the thing. Like, I'm not opposed to bleeding in a match for storytelling purposes. Where I find that I have felt it most effective is in matches where, okay, yeah, it's one thing, it's a feud or whatever, but when you're not necessarily advertising it going in, think about, like, I'm trying to think of modern era stuff. Think of Lesnar and Orton, or better yet, Lesnar and Cena at Extreme Rules in 2012. One of my favorite pay-per-view matches in the last, 12, 15 years or so, where, yeah, you're not exactly expecting it, and oh my goodness, somebody is busted open. I prefer that as a storytelling device in the context of a match, as opposed to, hey, we're going to have a match where it's going to get really, really bloody, and we're telling you that ahead of time. And if it doesn't, well, it's not going to, because that would be false advertising.
Right. Eddie Kingston came in and did his little promo. Ruby Soho wrapped up, and Ortiz's hair grew back pretty fast.
Yeah, no, but I will say, like, Kingston, Ortiz, and Ruby, like, I like the dynamics of that group. I think that's a very stable, has a very good look.
Interim world title eliminator. Didn't WWE start doing this? And that was AEW doing this too. Moxley taking on Takeshita.
They call it something. Don't they call it something slightly different?
Something like that. Sure. But you know what? Whatever. If you're just going to have a match between the world heavyweight champion or the interim heavyweight champion and the talent, let it be that. And if he wins, he gets a title shot. Yeah. Well, Moxley wins, and what a strong style type match. With the news that came out of Bryan Danielson, who's been concussed and still not cleared to wrestle, I look at Jon Moxley and ask him to slow the fuck down.
Yeah. The thing of it is, though, like, when I look at Danielson or Punk, I don't feel like Moxley does it necessarily to have a similar career trajectory. I mean, like, right now, what Moxley is, I think part of the reason, AEW's letting him engage his love of hardcore wrestling. And Moxley, man, I just don't think the impression that I get, Meathead, is like, I don't know if longevity is necessarily something he's going after with this style he's wrestling. I mean, this guy is, ripping his flesh apart in at least every other match he's in, I mean, it is, Moxley and AEW is very intriguing to me, because I think when he crossed over, it was the perception of, kind of like we were talking about with Claudio, and the fact that this is a AEW or WWE guy that never got featured prominently, and this could be the face of the company.
Even though he's a former WWE champion, world champion.
And I mean, he's the champion. He's the interim champion now. He's held the AEW title, but this has come across to me as, this company, AEW, has greenlit his ability to indulge in, this style of wrestling. And I just, Moxley and AEW, man, it's not been my cup of tea.
But he's still an amazing talent. All right. Video package out of the House of Black. Who got to do some talking was Julia Hart, and she didn't sound bad.
No, not at all. And this was a slow burn angle, but I think this is a really, really good spot for her.
Plus, there was Brody King destroying Darby Allin and an autograph signing over the weekend. And, Darby Allin had reached his hand out for a shake, and then Brody King destroyed Darby Allin at the autograph signing. Here comes Christian with Luchasaurus. Do you know what makes Christian a douchebag before he even gets on the microphone? He is killing it with that mock turtleneck.
Yeah.
Seriously. It's the mock turtleneck.
And think about it. Mock turtleneck in July.
Right. With a jacket on over the top of it.
Very, very, very late 90s, early 2000 look.
Yeah. It's ultra douchey.
Or late 90s or early late 90s Vince McMahon.
Right, exactly. Now, he went there again and called out Brian Pillman Jr.'s father, who's also dead. And I'm surprised he didn't call for his, if he would have said something about his mother, that would have been, because didn't his mother just pass too?
Yeah, just in the last few months, I think.
Yeah. The picture of Garrison dressed up like Jungle Boy, all he had to do was whisper it in Luchasaurus' ear, and Luchasaurus blew through Griff Garrison.
I like it, man. I mean, from the start of AEW, Luchasaurus has not been my thing, but just presenting him in this regard, I'm intrigued by this. They're doing a great job with that.
So Adam Page backstage, did that look like somebody doing cowboy shit or somebody doing meta hair bun stuff?
What was that?
I have no idea.
That was the most un-Adam Page look I've ever seen. I don't get it. And I mean, Best Friends came out in tie-dye, right? So, this was like some quasi tie-dye thing going on. I have no idea what that was.
Claudio Castagnoli took on Jake Hager. Let me go into this for a second here. Jake Hager, JR, I'll let you know, is 3-0 in MMA over 3 years. Wow. 3 matches, huh? It's 3 more than me. Jake Hager wrestles on occasion in AEW. If Jake Hager's only got 3 matches in 3 years in AEW, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything to me. Now, I understand that Jake Hager is also a former world champion when he was Jack Swagger. But he took on his partner who's had multiple tag matches. They really built a good backstory here. But you know what? The MMA stuff, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because, when was his last match?
Yeah, no, it's not relevant. And, it was relevant for a while in the start of AEW, when they were really pushing.
Because he was training for a fight at that point.
Yeah, his MMA run, he was a crossover and stuff. But, yeah, it doesn't. And especially somebody familiar.
It's like me saying I worked at Taco Bell in 92.
Somebody familiar with the product is going to know this is pretty much his 91. Same record he's had the whole time. Somebody new is going to be like, he's 3-0. Is this recently? Is this, a decade ago? Or is
that was the launch of the chili cheese burrito, I think. It was 90 or 91.
Ooh.
Continue.
So Yeah, and that was, I mean, of course, back in the glory days of the Mexican pizza, which I think you can get now, right?
Mexican pizza has made it back to some menus. Yes. Don't ask me why I'm the Taco Bell expert, but continue.
But yes. So this it's not relevant here. But let's not forget the ushering in. The actual unveiling of the chalupa would have been late 90s or maybe like 2000.
I'm not the chalupa guy.
Oh my goodness, chalupa is the best thing on the menu as far as I'm concerned.
No. Chili cheese burrito.
And I'm normally a steak person, but for the chalupa, I prefer the ground beef as opposed to the steak for some reason.
I like me a chicken soft taco to go with my chili cheese burritos. And then if I can get a slushy, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll take one of the Baja Mountain Dews.
Interesting. Have you tried the nacho fries?
No, and I won't.
You know what? A very, very good effort on their part, I will say.
All right, back to Claudio and Jake. And by the way, folks, Matthew left us with a cliffhanger yesterday. It's honeycombs. That's how the meathead wakes up in the morning, with honeycombs, a bowl of honeycombs. That's where the banana conversation came in.
Yes. I'm sure the listeners appreciate you clarifying that.
Yeah, we got to finish it. So Claudio with the big win over Jake Hager. That's 1812 Overture, I believe.
No. Well, there you go.
So, Serena Deeb and Anna Jay, they're going to have a match. But before that, we get in the back a couple interviews. First off, Hook. And I want to spend a second here on Hook. Why does Hook agree to be there on camera if he's not going to say anything? I understand why he doesn't say anything. Like if we were to catch up to him and try to interview him and then he doesn't want to answer, that makes more sense than him standing there waiting for the interviewer and the camera and then walking off. But the question that was posed is an important one. You're undefeated in AEW. When are you going to get a title match? And then he walks away. Matthew, I've been pounding the desk on this since Hook has debuted. I think the title that he needs to have is the FTW Championship.
Without a doubt. And you need to make it happen sooner rather than later because, I mean, that with in the tag match last night, I mean, is Ricky Stark, was he even referred to as the FTW champion?
Taz did say, I love that championship on his shoulder right there, the FTW Championship. He did call it out specifically, which leads me to believe that can we get a program, hopefully, between Ricky Starks and Hook? You know, does Ricky Starks, because Ricky Starks could be a very popular face.
Yeah.
Him and Hobbs actually could be a face team if we really wanted to go there. I'm not the creative team at AEW, but I think that the belt that Hook should be carrying is the FTW Championship.
No, without a doubt, and that's where we need to go. And I don't think that, I mean, it is right now for Stark, it's an ornament. I mean, it's really not. Yeah, Taz is talking about it, but it's just kind of this.
To be honest, Ricky Starks offended it more than Taz ever did. Ever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you got a point there. So but I think you're exactly right.
Thunderstorm backstage getting an interview, and then it's busted up by Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter, and then here comes a bag of sand to hold down during a thunderstorm.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and this, you I don't know if you caught it or not, but this, I believe, was a little bit of a reference to some criticism from the match about a month and a half ago.
Yes.
With so this was some inside wrestling jargon.
Yes, it was sandbagging. There was talk that Thunder Rosa sandbagged on I think it was on Marina Shafir that she sandbagged on her.
Here's the thing. You're trying to be cutting edge and this, that, and the other, but you are, basically
you're isolating your audience, because if you don't get the joke, then you don't know.
Yes, and you are saying that, in order for sandbagging to be a thing, then kayfabe doesn't exist, and this has to be a simulated sport, So just
it was
maybe
terrible.
Yeah, and maybe 20 years ago or something, man, it would have been cutting edge. I can't believe they said that and acknowledged that, it's
it was a poor attempt.
Yeah,
it really was. Let's move on to Serena Deeb and Anna Jay. The Professor Serena Deeb beats Anna Jay. It's not a bad match, but really what happened at the end was Mercedes Martinez coming out after Serena Deeb. They're going to probably have that title match at Death Before Dishonor.
Would make sense, because they were trying to sell that card last night.
The main event, Big match. They made this the big one for the first night of Fyter Fest. AEW World Tag Team titles, the Young Bucks, Swerve in Our Glory, and Team Taz. Like I said, I believe just this match was eligible for the PWR Fantasy Draft, Matthew. Folks, I joke because for those that don't know, the team they call Meatheads is in possession of Swerve in Their Glory. The winners and new AEW World Tag Team Champions, Swerve in Our Glory. Matthew, what an amazing match. And you know what? I loved it. The fact that the Bucks have now been 2-time champs and dropped it that quick, I don't care. I think Keith Lee and Swerve needed these belts.
Oh, great match. I mean, you had the Bucks. What I liked about this match was this was not your normal tag team match of traditionally sized or traditionally paced tag team wrestlers. You know, we got the Bucks that are smaller, quicker guys, and we've got two other teams that, you know, are made up of, you know, a quicker, more agile guy and then a bigger guy. And the combinations that we saw last night, it was absolutely wonderful. And I think the psychology was really, really solid in the fact that, you know, you've got 3 tag teams, so you didn't have a lot of, you know, everybody on the outside of the ring playing dead. Now, I could have done without the sequence we got at the end where AEW couldn't help themselves and we had to have everybody go flying outside of the ring to be caught by everybody else. I think that was one potential breakdown.
Multiple people in the ring with the referee doing nothing about it.
Yeah. Although I did like the double ref bump that Knox took.
Yeah, took the first one and then the second one banged again. That was fantastic.
But
there was no chainsaw involved after though.
Yeah, I know. But I want to talk about Ricky Starks. You were saying he could be a potential future really, really solid babyface, and I don't know if you noticed it or not. But you know, and I thought the false finishes in this match were absolutely tremendous. Did you notice in one of the false finishes, Ricky Starks gets us to a point where he is in tears because you're thinking this is going to be it. This is look at his facial expression. He's crying because this is going to be the final spot where he wins the title. No, it was a false finish. But this dude literally had us bought in by the facial expression on that finish. I thought it was an amazing match, and I was hoping for a title change here. I didn't care who won the titles, if it was Swerve in Our Glory, or if it was the team of Starks and Hobbs. But I like the fact that we've got a fresh set of champions, and I thought this was an absolute amazing match and really, really showcased, you know, how much talent you've got in AEW.
Amazing show. Amazing. Again, you know, I'll have to talk to the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, because I feel like my AEW tag team champions won that and scored me some points, but I'll have to talk to the people.
Well, you know, Meathead, I mean, all that can happen now is they can lose the title. So you're never going to get. Well,
they could lose them on Rampage and then win it back at a pay-per-view.
I guess that's true.
And let's talk about the tag team titles real quick too. Let me ask you, because remember I said this last week, I thought they did a very unique way of playing in the rankings. The Bucks challenged the number 2 and number 3 ranked teams, not the number 1 ranked team. So now that Swerve in Our Glory is the champions, the number 1 challengers are the 6-star FTR. Do they go to that match right away?
No, I think we're going out to September with that, man. I think this is going to be a 2-month title run.
That's an all out?
Yep. And I think we get the title change there.
I might end up dropping that team come the pay-per-view because I don't want to lose the pay-per-view. I mean, we'll see about that. But Swerve in Our Glory, new AEW champions. That was Dynamite. That was PWR today. Matthew, we're going to do it again tomorrow, I believe, right?
That sounds like a plan to me. I think the listeners, they're demanding it is what they're doing.
Well, what are we going to leave them with on a cliffhanger this time? I mean, you know, you'd set it up, the man that called Meathead. And I finally got your reference, too. I sent you a message that said they called Braun Breaker a meathead. That should be a compliment to Braun Breaker.
And it was so great, too. And you go back and watch it. You know, he says it. He's like, it's the meathead. And then there's like a pause, you know. So, I mean, NXT's listening, man. And me and Linda were talking about last week about how, you know, there was no carryover from the little cookout vignette. I mean, we got Otis puking on Raw last week, but it wasn't that in NXT. And we got a match last night or 2 nights ago on NXT that resulted from a cannonball from Duke Hudson getting upset because he got cannonballed on in the pool. So, man, the power, they're listening.
I'm telling you, the next thing we're going to have is tomorrow night. We're going to have Matthew Thomas be the newest member of Maximum Male Models because they are taking applications at WWE.com.
Oh, my goodness. And here's the thing, too, Meathead. It would work because of the name M. They all start with an M. Yeah. It's got that alliteration right there. That's right.
Good. Good. Campbell's soup is good. All right. For Matthew Thomas, for Linda Kay, the man they call me, hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.